Number 5. Kitchen Goddess and the Assassin. A young woman wants to become a master chef, and instead she gets pulled into the orbit of a top-tier assassin. Depending on the version, it's basically kidnapped. Hired. And that's the hook. You've got cozy kitchen energy inside a world where people disappear for a living. But the theme is way bigger than it sounds, because in this story, food is power, it's leverage, it's safety, it's identity. The romance works best when it stops being rescued princess and turns into a negotiation. She wants freedom and growth. He's trained for control and secrecy. If you want domestic comedy with danger humming in the background, start here. Transition. And if that's the soft entry, number 4 is where power turns into a social disease. Number 4, peerless refiner. This is transmigration revenge energy, except it actually has political weight under the power fantasy. A 24th century immortal cultivator wakes up as a bullied 9th young lady and flips the hierarchy fast. But the real hook is the destroyer/world termination armor system. Prestigious, terrifying, and honestly, a disaster waiting to happen. Because the story keeps asking, when a society worships power that's structurally unsafe, who gets crushed so the elite can feel invincible? As it expands into war and conspiracy, you get truth versus propaganda, hidden history, and the price of becoming strong enough. If you like an OP heroine where the strength turns into responsibility, this one hits. Transition. Now number 3 is pure second chance progression, but with a nasty question underneath. Number 3, Master of Spiritual Sword. Regression fans, this is your meal. A top swordsman gets betrayed and returns to his youth. He looks weak again, but inside he's carrying a full lifetime of knowledge. And here's the theme that makes it interesting. Is this a second chance, or is it an obsession? Because when you know the future, it's easy to treat people like chess pieces. And when your motto becomes submit or die, you start drifting toward the thing you swore you'd destroy. This one circles revenge versus justice and power versus legitimacy, with plenty of ruthless progression and conspiracy threads. If you like your protagonists smart, cold, and surgical, this fits. Transition. Okay, number 2 is where the story turns into social satire, with a sword. Number 2, Sword King in a Women's World. This one is a reverse world setup that actually swings at culture. Chu Qing returns to Earth at 17, but it's a world where women hold most social and economic power, and the usual gender expectations are flipped. So the early hook is the inversion. Who's judged for looks? Who's treated like a prize? Who's expected to marry well? Who's considered high value? But it's not just comedy. Cultivation becomes a metaphor for reclaiming agency in a system designed to define what men should be. And the romance plays like politics: status, protection, family power, social pressure. Content note: some versions lean into coercion/predation themes inside this reversed structure. So if that's a hard no for you, skip this entry. Transition. And now number 1 is the one that goes for the throat. War against heaven itself. Number 1, Feng Shenji. Number 1 is mythic fantasy with teeth. It flips the usual gods are righteous idea, because here the gods rule as tyrants and humans exist as tools. The Shang king rejects heaven's edict and declares rebellion. He gets crushed, and then we follow Wu Zheng, who survives by reviving in the body of a slave and gets thrown into brutal forced labor. And that's where the real story starts, because the core question becomes, does heaven deserve obedience just because it's powerful? This hits freedom versus natural order, rebellion versus liberation, and the fear that once you gain power, you might become the next tyrant. If you want a story where the enemy isn't just a person, it's a system, and winning comes with a cost, this is the one.